The Division franchise has been out for a decade, and for its 10th anniversary, the Division 2 introduced Realism mode, a new limited time mode for players to try with reduced HUD elements and some gameplay changes. Now, I admit I didn't watch a dev stream covering the reveal because I like to be surprised sometimes, and what a surprise this was. See, hardcore mode already exists, which features permadeath and is a lot more challenging. I assumed realism mode would have been like hardcore mode, but just with a more restricted HUD, but I could not have been more wrong. Realism mode fundamentally changes the Division 2 in just about every way. It's not often that games I put more than 1,000 hours into manage to humble me and make me feel like I'm playing it again for the first time. I'm actually going to show you my bad gameplay because the first 30 minutes of trying this mode were a bit of a struggle. Longtime fans of this game know how it plays and how everything works, and the dev team created a mode that takes into account all of your habits and what feels like muscle memory and second nature, and almost punishes you for them, because you're no longer playing the Division 2. This mode is something else, one that demands to be taken a little bit more seriously. The first couple minutes exposed my reckless playstyle and bad habits from the base game. How I normally take shots with no consideration if some missed or not because there's usually no shortage of ammo. My bad positioning and refusal to move around because when I feel like I'm being overrun, I rely on my drones and turrets to get kills and take that pressure off. Now you might be thinking, well, this guy just sounds like he's bad at the game, but no, in the base game I run builds that give me constant and what's essentially infinite heals, so I rarely worry about dying unless I'm playing legendary difficulty and game content. This mode showed me I don't move around and reposition as much as I should. I like to gamble and take bets that I can kill the enemy before they kill me, and I'm not really punished for playing like that in the base game because again, I'm constantly healing. And why would I care about wasting ammo when I have an LMG that has 1,000 bullets and reloads itself while I'm still shooting it? Plus, there are ammo boxes set up everywhere. And my turrets and drones are built to thin out the cannon fodder waves of enemies, making it easier for me to focus on actual threats. Realism mode kicked each of these crutches out from under me. Limited healing, no abundance of ammo, and no reliable division tech that does as much damage as a second player. The core gameplay elements all completely removed. I had to change my playstyle, which really depended on the weapon type in my hands. I had to make sure that I was in that weapon's effective kill distance because wasting ammo is no longer something I could afford to do. The real strategic thinking of the game changes with realism mode. Unlike the base game, it's no longer about your build. It's not about performing actions that activate your gear talents while proccing crits and seeing the damage numbers start to stack up as you watch your handcrafted build start to come alive in the middle of combat. The strategic thinking is now centered around survival. Every move and decision is about your survival, your positioning, thinking about the type of weapon you have and its characteristics and effective kill distance. Because damage numbers don't matter anymore, they aren't even shown. So now you think about how close you have to be to get kills in the least amount of bullets depending on your weapon, because ammo is pretty limited. Supply boxes don't open anymore and you don't know when the next ammo drop is coming. Taking long range fights with SMGs and shotguns in the main game is just softening up their armor, but in realism mode it's stupid and comes with consequences because you're wasting bullets, and running out of ammo is almost a death sentence. You say almost because you can still change weapons, but now you have to readjust how you're playing to suit that weapon. And that's when it hit me. This is what realism mode is all about, adapting. And it is extremely fun. I'm no longer the one-man army with infinite heals and ammo. The playing field is now even and it's a tense, challenging game. Now I've seen some criticism online about enemies still being a bit too tanky and bosses not dying to one-shot headshots, and I think this is where calling this realism mode set the wrong expectations for a lot of people. It's more difficult than the base game and it's a different experience. Sure, there's some realism aspects like bullet types and range matters now, but overall there aren't enough changes like that to where I would call this entire mode realistic. They should change the name because it's been proven time and time again how choosing the wrong name and setting the wrong expectations can backfire. Just look at Prey and Project Cars 3. Where I disagree with some of the complaints though are about the riot shield enemies and running out of ammo. Their role is to rush you and move you out of cover. I think some people were still playing this like it's the regular mode where you can just destroy shields and kill the enemy because you have the ammo to do so, but not in this case. You're just wasting ammo. You can shoot their feet and then the head or get behind them. I had no issue fighting shields in my playthrough. But there's definitely some tweaks to be made. The mode, while I enjoy it, it's not perfect. I'm surprised that your armor still auto-regens once all the enemies are dead, like in the base game. I don't think it should do that in this mode. Also, the lack of descriptions for attachments means you have no idea what some of them do, so little things like that I think they can improve on. And actually, after going back to playing the base game content, I kept a lot of the new habits I learned from this mode, like moving around a lot more and not over-relying on heals, and it's actually made a difference in the much more difficult endgame content where you die faster and I'd stay alive a lot longer now. Apart from no damage numbers though, there's no gear talents, just basic attributes now, and everyone comes with a drawback. So in a way, you can still have a build, but it's now based on your playstyle and what area of tactics you use to help you survive. Want more accuracy to help with getting those one-shot headshots? Then you'll have less stability, giving you more recoil. You want more armor? Then you'll have less movement speed, so repositioning will be a bit slower, making it easier for enemies to hit you. It's a great change where you can choose what the strengths and weaknesses of your characters are, and you can play around that. This is no longer a looter shooter. Even the way you get new weapons and attachments have changed. They're awarded at the ends of missions. So the real grind is now completing missions and unlocking the map, because there's no best version of a piece of gear or weapon type. There's no RNG, you just need to unlock these things once now. The other thing that was an unexpected surprise is how the added difficulty changed how I felt about this game. See, in Realism mode, enemies die as fast as you do. The time to kill is turned all the way down. Typically, I'm fine with harder games, but I think this is the first time where a game being more difficult actually felt more fair. Boss fights and killing armored enemies no longer feels like an uphill battle where I just mag dump for 2 minutes while constantly healing. It feels fair being able to headshot bosses and kill them as fast as they've killed me for years. Apart from the fairness though, it just feels good. Getting acclimatized to the recoil and being able to headshot multiple enemies and clear sections of a mission in a few seconds that would otherwise take a minute or two. And shotguns are by far my favorite weapon type in any game, and it's even more satisfying to use them in this mode. I just close the distance and a single pump to the chest puts down just about everyone, and I love it. The HUD has been completely stripped down. Only the most relevant info is displayed here, and while this does add a bit of difficulty to the mode, it comes with such an unexpected benefit, which I'll get to in a second. The Division games have amazing atmosphere and just a great vibe to them. The main game, I'm at level 600, so I'm in World Tier 5, where the endgame enemies are everywhere. There's several factions in the street duking it out, and they're all vying for power, and it's because of all that chaos and action, Washington DC feels pretty alive. And it's a common complaint amongst gamers and game reviewers alike when big open worlds like this feel lifeless, but in Division 2 you don't have to worry about that. However, in Realism mode, there's a night and day difference between Washington DC and New York. That unexpected benefit I mentioned is that with the HUD and all the RPG elements like numbers pretty much removed, there's no distractions, no data or icons and widgets in neon orange all fighting for your attention. All that's left to look at and become immersed in is the world of the Division 2. As you walk down these concrete corridors, it's so quiet and oddly peaceful. The horrifying thing, of course, is that it's so peaceful because everyone's dead. The city is lifeless, and that common gripe about open world games feeling empty no longer bothers me because there's context and intent behind this soulless feeling landscape. And I'm reminded that I'm playing a post-apocalyptic game where I'm humanity's last line of defense and only hope of restarting civilization. I admit, I sometimes forget that because of the cool abilities, exotic weapons, and new levels that they constantly add, but this was a nice reminder. Removing the HUD gets you very immersed in the game. There's no giant line in the sky that you blindly follow. You have to look around for icons and symbols hidden in plain sight to start missions and access safe houses. But most importantly, it lets the world speak for itself. Nature reclaimed parts of a city in the absence of us, the attempts to contain the contamination in quarantine zones, and the eventual failure because the dollar flu virus spread too far and too quickly. Looking at humanity's last ditch efforts to cling on to life and self preservation have all been frozen and cemented in time, left for you to explore and connect the dots. This is what the world is like for the people who survived the outbreak and for those who come after. A simple tweak like removing the HUD had such a massive impact and changed the lens of how I view and interact with this game that I've spent years in. Realism mode recontextualizes the entire game. It's an answer to a question that nobody asked. What if Division wasn't a looter shooter? Again, nobody asked, but I'm still glad they decided to come up with an answer, and by deconstructing its core mechanics, it leaves a hollowed version of the Division 2, one that's surprisingly just as fun and difficult as the main game, but for very different reasons, and provides a very unique experience in a pretty familiar feeling game. I hope this wasn't just a test for the new DLC, and we do see Realism mode return for the full game in the future. But if you made it this far, thanks for watching. Subscribe for more content like this, where I talk about stuff I think is cool, and I'll catch you in the next video.